Alright, so my name is Tom Van Horn. I did my presentation on homicide. So I'm going to explain in this presentation what is homicide, the types of homicide, murder, reasons for homicide, criminological explanations given from class, ways to combat homicide, quiz, question and answer, and a conclusion at the end. So what is homicide? Homicide is defined by the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Program as the willful killing of one human being by another. All homicides, obviously, are classified as felonies. And after doing some research, I couldn't find anything. This was the most recent I could do, but in 2018 there were 16,214 murders in the United States. So there are different types of homicides. Everybody thinks that homicide and murder are the same thing. I will get into murder in the next slide. But three of the main types of homicide are negligent homicide, justifiable homicide, and criminal homicide. Negligent homicide involves a person's negligence, so lack of doing something results in somebody else's death. An example of that would be you're a parent, you go to Walmart, it's a hot day, you leave your kids in the car with the windows up, you come out and your kids are dead from heat exhaustion because you left your kids in the car. You didn't mean to do it, but you forgot your kids in the car, that resulted in them dying. That's still a version of homicide. It's not as serious as criminal homicide, but it's still a felony. Then you have justifiable homicide. So that is taking somebody else's life in self-defense. So an example of this would be a justified police-involved shooting, or somebody feels their life is in danger and justifiably so, they shoot and kill somebody. So say somebody robs their house, has a gun pointed at them or their wife, and they have a license to carry and shoot and kill the robber. That's a justifiable homicide. That usually doesn't result in any type of penalty. Then you have criminal homicide, which is either murder or manslaughter. Murder I will get into on the next slide. Murder, the two main types that I'm focusing on in this presentation are first degree and second degree murder. So I will explain that in the next slide. Murder is intentionally killing another person. So you know you're doing it. You know you're killing another person. Manslaughter is similar to negligent homicide because the intent wasn't there. So an example of manslaughter would be hitting someone and killing someone with your car while you're driving drunk or driving on drugs or something like that. Then you have murder. So the two common types I said are going to be first and second degree. First degree murder is you're killing somebody and you know you're going to kill somebody before you do it. So if you go to somebody's house, if I say, I want to kill my friend, and I go over to my friend's house and kill my friend, that's first degree murder because I knew I was going to that person's house for the sole purpose of I'm going to kill them. Then you have second degree murder. Second degree murder is, you are killing another person intentionally, but you weren't planning on doing it beforehand. So an example of this would be, I put on here, if someone made fun of my girlfriend and I killed them in the moment, you didn't plan on it, but you did. Another example would be you commit a home invasion, you think nobody's home. Somebody is home. You get scared, panicked, and you kill them just because you're scared. You're still committing murder, but you didn't go commit a home invasion looking to kill someone. Now, reasons for homicide. So one of the sources that I have, 61% of all homicides are committed by a family member or someone close to the victim. So domestic issues aren't really someone close to the victim. Sometimes someone close to the victim could be, two people start selling drugs together and one person screws the other person over, so they kill them. I mean, that's still somebody close to them. They're usually not random. Usually the ones that are random are robbery. Robbery's gone bad. So money, obviously. I mean, you rob people for money. Drugs, you rob people for drugs. Drug turf. So, say I'm a drug dealer and somebody takes over my block. I feel a certain type of way about that, so I kill them. Revenge. Say my cousin got killed. I know who killed them. I don't want to go to the police, and I kill them. And greed. Robbery has a lot to do with that. You know, you see old people living in a house. The old guy you didn't know the old guy you didn't know was home. You go to rob their house. They have a lot of stuff in it, and you shoot and kill them by accident. So some criminological explanations. So I pulled up a stat here that individuals that live in a low income household per 1,000 people have a 3.5 chance of committing a violent crime involving a firearm. People in higher income areas have a 0.8 to 2.5 chance per 1,000 people. So the chance is a lot higher in lower income neighborhoods or lower income households. I'll give you an example. Chester, PA. Chester, PA is a very low income area, destroyed by poverty. A lot of the young adults that live in Chester did not grow up in good households. Basically, the streets raised them. And they also have a high murder rate. It's not a very big city. There's already been 14 homicides this year, and it's April. That's alarming. Then you have the moral development theory. That has a lot to do with just, were you born with morals? Were you raised in the right mental capacity to be able to tell right and wrong? And how you developed more morally as you grew up, how you were raised. So someone with a good head on their shoulders is, if you're being threatened, justifiable homicide would go into this. If your life is in danger and you kill somebody, you could tell the police or whoever, oh, I killed that person in self-defense, this is what happened. Your thoughts are very concrete. And then you have the differential association theory. So that's basically, criminal behavior is learned through the communication and interaction with others. So I'll give you another example from Chester. Or I'll give you another example. Say you grow up in a city, the MS-13 gang runs the city, runs your neighborhood. So a lot of people you play in a neighborhood with have affiliations to this certain gang. Well, just you grow up without a good backbone in your household, without a set of rules, you're not involved in school, stuff like that. You turn to, your neighborhood and the streets for help. Well, they're all MS-13 gang members, so you have more inkling to join that. And, a lot of gangs, your first to get in the gang initiation is to kill someone. So that makes places like street gangs and people like that make homicide more normal. So other people get sucked in and learn that and make that normal in their own head. So there's ways to combat homicide. You can educate society on you shouldn't have to, but some people just don't know. Educate society on, how to deal with your problems in different ways. Have people go to school, reduce poverty. A lot of people, will commit robberies because out of necessity. You have a gun. If you get scared, a lot of robberies end up bad. Not a lot of people intend to kill people during robberies, but they do. Stricter background checks on guns. So one of my sources basically presented the fact that people shouldn't be able to purchase a gun if you're a convicted felon, if you have certain violent crimes in your history, certain alcohol problems in your history, like any crime where you are considered a threat to yourself or other people if you have a gun. and then lessen the amount of gun trades and straw gun purchasers. So basically, what a straw gun purchaser is, for nobody who knows, is basically somebody who isn't a felon goes into a gun shop, buys a gun because you can, because they're not a felon, and gives it to a felon. Well, the felon shouldn't have a gun. So you need to get the guns out of the hands of the wrong people. So you need to get people to stop buying guns for people who shouldn't have guns. It's a quiz. This was meant more for, before this coronavirus started. I'll just start with the first two, and I'll do the last one. So the state that had the highest murder rate in 2018 was Louisiana, which kind of shocked me. It's kind of a small state with one big city, New Orleans. I know New Orleans has a high murder rate. And then you have state with the lowest murder rate was South Dakota, which is obvious. Not a lot of people come to South Dakota because there's not much to do there. It's very rural, not a lot of people. So that wasn't really a shock. And then if a man and woman got the urge to kill his brother and then went over to his house and killed him, what type of murder would that be? Well, that would be first-degree murder, because the man got the urge to kill his brother. So before he even saw his brother, he knew he was going to kill him. Then he went to seek out his brother to go kill him, and he killed him. So it was premeditated that this man was going to kill his brother. All right, and then are murders born or made? So this is a YouTube video that basically explains if murders are born or made. This girl's opinion. In my opinion, I think murders are more made. I don't think people are just born to kill. I think other aspects of society bring that out in people. Tough childhood. If you're experiencing a lot of violent things in your life, they become more normalized than people who don't experience a lot of violent things, if that makes any sense. Conclusion. So I went over what is homicide, different types of homicide, justifiable, negligent, and criminal. And then I went into subsets. Criminal homicide has manslaughter and murder, and then murder first and second degree. And then I went over the ways to combat homicide, educate yourself, stricter background checks, reduce poverty, things of that nature. And then these are my references. And that is it. I hope everybody had a lot to learn about this presentation. And thank you for your time.